That's funny. Here we go. We are live right now with Kathy Tagenel.
Yes,
Yay! Yes,
you.
yes.
It's an honor to be here with you, Lisa. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. You know, it's funny in the promo, I said you're the wizard behind the curtain because on the Success Alliance, you're always like so on the spot when someone mentions a website, you've already got it in. They don't even have to say what the whole title of the book and you've got it in. But more, it's not really wizard. Bob calls you 99.
Yes.
But it's kind of like, you know what I call my assistant is, and it's not the same person. I only use one when I go on trips. This sounds weird, but it's a number one, like on Star Trek.
Right. Oh, I went to Trekkie.
Yeah, start number one because like Erica's number one when we travel because I am so bad at keeping on the schedule. I can book the whole trip. I can book all the hotels and the thing, all of it. But once we get there with the schedule, I need somebody else to do that because I am so bad with that. But I bet you're good with that.
You're good at going with the plan. You just need somebody to,
Yeah.
have it there
Yeah.
for and keep you there.
Yeah.
Well, now I see comments coming in, but it just says Facebook user.
Well, if they don't agree to StreamYard,
Okay.
then they have to say like Facebook Tamara agreed to it. Hey Tamara, yay! Matter of fact, Tamara was nice enough to be my number one when we were just in Orlando. So we shared a room. Yeah. You know, I bet you know how she feels when you go around with Bob Berg. People recognize him because of his height. And of course, he's, you're usually at an event and he's Bob, right? And so he's usually speaking or something.
Right.
But Tamara went with me to the Avon convention. Now, any other convention, I wouldn't have the problem, but in Avon, a lot of people know who I am. So going places is
and you're Captain Platinum, and you should have a platinum.
Well, I actually thought it'd been a while since we'd been to anything, and I was in Avon's promotional DVD years back, so I figured by now it wouldn't be a problem. But Tamara said, "You're kidding yourself, right?" So it's fun, but I'm glad I can. That's not everywhere. Oh, so anyway. So, and yeah, who else is on? If you don't agree to the terms, we only see Facebook user, but I do see Cynthia. I know she's from Windber, Pennsylvania. That's how I know that's her. And Tamara. So if you put your name in the comments so we can see. Tamara says she apparently doesn't realize she's famous, but Tamara doesn't realize I'm only famous within a small group of people.
You're in that bond, for sure.
Yeah, famous is subjective, I guess. Is that it? The perspective, right? Believe me, when I'm here, I'm not famous at all.
That's right. In your own backyard, nobody cares.
No, not at all. No, I can clean the cat box and go outside my nightgown, the whole works. Nothing. It doesn't matter. And Debbie Madsen's on from New York. Yay!
Hey, Debbie, I guess I can't seem to comment. I think I was supposed to sign up and I didn't. Sorry about that. So hi everybody. I'm just going to talk instead of.
Well, I'll say if somebody says something and wants to know something. Okay. Yes, and I wasn't sure which to talk about first, but I want to ask some background questions if you don't mind. I'm gonna do 99. I love that. Do you like being called 99? Or
it is fun. Yes, I wish I were as pretty as Barbara Feldon.
Oh.
Played the role 99 on Get Smart, but
didn't she wear like leather outfits and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, so how did you get involved in the whole Go Giver thing? Or is it Bob that you knew from before?
Well, I actually met Bob before the Go Giver came out. And it's kind of a funny story. I was a huge fan of Endless Referrals. I have it over there in my bookcase. It was how I had built my marketing firm, Zoom Strategies. I was living in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the time. And I believe it was in 2006. And my husband and I at the time had a networking directory that we had started. It was sort of his pet project. He was in grad school. So I didn't pay that much attention. I was busy building my business. And one day he sends me this email and it's from Bob Berg. And I read it and I go back to his office carrying the book going, is that the Bob Berg? Endless Referrals, Bob Berg. And he looks at me like I'm nuts. And he goes, Kath, Bob's been a columnist on the Atlasphere, which was the name of our networking directory, for 3 years. And it was just like such a different world. I was like, I didn't realize that was the same Bob Berg that I'd been quoting in my marketing workshops. So that's how I ended up going to that live event that we helped promote and met him in person. And he's as amazing in person as you all know who know him. And then that was in 07 when the actual event was. And then at the end of 07, he sent out an email saying, would anyone like to host a live event? The Go Giver is going to be published soon. And I was like, will you come to Albuquerque? And they're like, sure, sell 200 tickets, line up sponsors, and Bob will be there. And I was like, well, I haven't done that before, but I'm going to do that. So I put on my event started planning it. So this was in December. By the end of January, they called me up and said, would you like to handle this nationwide for us? We have so many people who want to do these events. We just can't handle it. And you seem to know what you're doing. And I was like, well, don't you want me to have the event first? Just to make sure. They're like, no, we just need your help. So I'm happy to say the event that I put on did go really well. We had 200.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was great. And we went on to do 11 events together.
Wow.
In 2008. So that's how I started my first working with Bob. He became my client in Zoom Strategies. We took on all of his web work. And then it just grew from there. And
I went to one of his things. I wonder if it was that one in 2007. It was in Florida.
In Orlando. Well, he had one. 07 was the first year. There was an 08, 09, and 010 was the last year that we did that event.
Well, it was one of those. I don't, and no, it may have been later than that because my kid was born in 05.
Okay.
And I think the kid was older than that. So, because I've got pictures with Bob with my kid on the shoulder, way up there on the shoulder, because Bob's like way tall.
That's so cool. One I didn't make it. There was one year I didn't make it to that event, but I do remember communicating with you early on when I was doing work with Bob.
Yeah, that was fun. I was able to, I would think I was, what do they call it? A beta reader or whatever it is for the Go Giver, the original book.
Okay.
So that was exciting. Yeah, that was exciting. I read it. I remember what I was doing when I read it because I was in transition between houses. So that's how I remember that. That's funny. Anyway, that the Go Giver Alliance is like my new favorite thing that I'm yakking about all the time. I would like, how did that come about? As far as did you come up with it, or he come up with it, or it just naturally evolved?
Well, it had evolved. Actually, we had an earlier version that we started back in 2013. It was originally called Go Givers International Membership.
Oh, nice.
And it was also the name of the company at the time. And so we were like, okay, that's a little confusing. So we came up with Go Giver Success Alliance as the membership. But then technology just wasn't quite up to snuff yet back then. So we kind of just put it on the shelf. And then when COVID hit, we started doing a lot more meetings within our Facebook group, our Go Giver Entrepreneurs, anyone who would come to our Go Giver Entrepreneurs Academy. And we just realized, we need to really build community. And that's something that's really important to me, both of us. But I just really feel like community is so important, and finding new ways to bring people together, especially given what we went through last year. So we decided we still like the name, so we kept the name but we had great new technology. So we're using Mighty Networks for our platform for the Go Giver community. And then within the community, we have the Go Giver Success Alliance group. And
And it's fabulous. I don't know how to explain it, but I do feel like I'm not worthy. But
oh,
I know it. I don't know if it's because everybody is so accomplished in their different fields
mhm.
that if I don't know if that's why it feels that way, but it's like it's awesome.
That's what's so unique about it. It truly is a group mentorship. I mean, we have Bob as our key mentor, our Pindar, but I feel like we learn so much from everyone in the group. The Wednesday Zoomed coffee and conversations are just, I can't wait for them each week because I feel like so much, it makes me think about things at such a deeper level.
And it's funny when I have to miss it because of something. I'm always like, eh. You know what I mean? Because that is like the highlight of the week now. But and we end up talking about even though we're all in different industries, we end up talking about things that affect my business, absolutely affect my business. So I think that's, even how not to close and close, you know what I mean? All that stuff. And it's based on the go-giver principles. And I think before we did the Success Alliance, it felt like we were all just alone doing it. We were all just alone living it. You didn't realize there were other people doing it. So that is so brilliant, I think, to have it.
Thank you. And it's so fascinating. I mean, it truly is global. I mean, we have members from all over the world, from Sweden to the UK to Vietnam, Canada. I mean, just all over. It's just really wonderful.
And on the call too, on the Wednesday Zoom.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And in the little, when we do our little fika coffee chats, which I just love, that's just like four members get together. And most of the time we have 3 or 4 countries on the Zoom together. So
Wow.
it's really fun.
That
Um,
is, I
so,
haven't jumped into that yet.
well,
Is
you're
it?
welcome anytime. We do at least one a week. So
It's funny because I've been meeting all the members one at a time doing this.
it's
I
fabulous.
think we've had 8 or 9
Oh,
members on.
that's so great of you. You're so inspiring, Lisa.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm so happy that they want to come on, but I'm hoping that it they see a different group of people and my group of people see different ideas because when you stay just within your industry or your company, you end up doing everything the same.
Yeah.
And it's branching out that makes it, I think, makes it so you go faster to the top. Is that how you want to put it?
Yeah, or just the integration and the silo busting, if you will. So we don't
Oh,
just,
yes. Yeah. I like that. Silo busting.
yeah, different. I mean, to me, it's about integrating. So I love to go over here and see what they're doing here and then bring it back and cross pollinate and, try and create something uniquely, you know, our own as we do that.
You know what I've been bad about is thinking everybody wants to rule the world, and
Mm,
some people don't. And it's
mm,
I have a hard time understanding because when I was talking on here with the guest John
mhm,
Fleming, he said most people, which I find hard, are happy to earn an extra 300 to 500 a month. And
mm.
I'm like, I would consider myself a dismal failure if I was earning 300 to 500 a month. I don't know, even on a side gig. So I
Right.
I find it hard to, and that's why I want to talk to you about the index too,
Right.
because I think that shows that people have their own different uniqueness,
Hmm.
and you should play to their uniqueness. Am I getting that right?
That's right. That's right. We all have our instinctive way of doing things. It's not why we do it and it's not what we do, but it's our way, how we do it. It's I like to say it's how we're wired for success. Like I'm not wired the same way you are, so I'm not going to be successful if I try and do things the way you do them. You have your special gifts. You truly are an innovator, Lisa. I mean, you just are such a visionary and you can see it and you have the determination to make it a reality, which is just beautiful.
Now, you know what's funny about that? I was like, we're talking about the Colby report, and
Yeah.
it's the Colby index, right? Oh,
Yeah,
yes. I'm
Colby.
glad you have visual aids. These are awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, little
Kathy
sticks.
put me to work. She put me to work beforehand.
Yeah. So
So, would you tell me how did you first learn about this? And
sure.
this isn't a personality test. It
It
is
is
not a
not a
personality.
personality test. There are actually three parts to our mind. So, affect, the feeling, the emotion side, that's what personality, social styles has to do with. And they're very helpful. It's a key piece to understand what motivates, what drives us. Um, so that we can grow with that. Then we have the cognitive, which is our learned skills, our experience, our education, and that their IQ tests, the Wonderlic capability survey. There's a bunch that are out there. And it used to be, I think it was in like the 50s or 60s, you couldn't get a job in the government, US government, if you didn't score high on the Wonderlic survey. Then there's this third domain that actually Aristotle and Plato had theorized, but nobody had really pursued until Kathy Kolbe came around. And that was the conative, this doing. How do we take action? And a little fascinating tidbit is that Kathy Kolbe's father was E.F. Wunderlich. She grew up in
Oh,
the family business scoring his Wunderlich IQ test.
oh, that's neat.
Yeah, but she was dyslexic and she really struggled in school. And she said to her dad, she's, Dad, I don't think, just how smart you are is what determines how successful you are. And he was like, well, Kathy, this is my domain. Maybe you'll discover that other aspect. And while she didn't set out to do it, her first job, she was a true entrepreneur. She was creating gifts, puzzles, games for gifted children. And she noticed in
Oh, that's
working with
neat.
the kids that they attacked, solving the problems in very distinct ways, but different ways. And so that led her down this path of identifying that we actually have four distinct modes in which we take action. So I actually discovered this prior to even knowing Bob Burg or anything. This was way back in 2002, and I'm
Oh,
gonna go back a little bit. So I had had a corporate career for 12 years, had been through management development programs, specialized more in the IT and marketing fields. And by 1998, I decided to leave corporate America. And so I went into my own business. But back when I was still working, I was also running marathons. So I was getting massage therapy to, take care of my muscles. And I thought, this is getting expensive. I think I would like to learn how to do this so I could trade. And I thought, what a great skill to take care of family and friends. So I actually at night went back to school and became a certified massage therapist.
wow.
So yeah, that ties into something else we might get into later.
You're
But
like John David Mann, though. All these, like an onion, all these layers of awesomeness.
yeah,
Wow. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
everybody has all these fun little stories to share. So that was something I did. And then in 2000, I got married and I relocated to Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I thought, maybe I should be a massage therapist full time. So I tried doing that. And while I loved it, I loved my patients, I was not feeling fulfilled and I was feeling stressed in a weird way. And I'm like, how can this be? It is physically tiring doing 6 massages in a day, but it wasn't that. There was something else. And that was when I discovered in one of Robert Kiyosaki's books, he was the Rich Dad, Poor Dad
Oh,
series.
yeah. Yeah.
In one of his books, he talked about this Kolbe index and how it really helped him understand an aspect of himself that nothing else had. So I immediately went online and I took the Kolbe assessment, and boom, there was my answer. There's a mode called implementer, and it has to do with how hands-on you are. It's not about getting things done. It's about, are you a tangible person? Well, the Kolbe index, it's on a scale of 1 to 10. And if you're a 7 through 10, that means that's how you initiate. So if someone is a 7 through 10 on implementer, they're very hands-on. That's a person who's out building, maybe your tradesmen, your electricians, your plumbers. Well, I was a 3. And the ones 3 are the people who envision. not people that do a lot with their hands. And the other thing to understand is this is your mental energy and you have a certain percentage of it. So with my 3, I have like 15% of my mental energy that goes into hands-on type things. Well, 2 massages, I've used up the mental energy component. I physically could do it, but I didn't have the mental energy to really stay engaged. And my other modes weren't getting utilized. And that's what I was feeling the strain build up in me because I'm initiating follow through, which follow through is your instinct to design, systematize, organize. So I'm someone who likes to develop systems and programs. And secondarily, I'm a 6 in what's called quick start, which is how you deal with risk and uncertainty. So I want to create something, but I want to do it in a new and different way. And massage therapy was not giving me any outlet.
I'm looking at your chart.
Yes. So here's my
Oh, yes. Yeah, there you go. Oh, you were going to share a screen. Did you want to share it now?
Do that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Make this happen. So bear with us, everyone. We just tried this beforehand.
Do whatever you did before, and then I add it. Is what happened.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Oh, look it. We did it.
Yay. Okay. Wonderful. So here, this was the 3 parts of the mind that I just had went through: the thinking, the feeling, and the doing. So the Kolbe Index is the only assessment out there that truly identifies your striving instincts. And with that, I'm going to hop over to.
So that's the doing section.
This is the doing. So can you see? Okay, so we're looking at Lisa's results right now. And over on the left-hand side, you see the different zones. So you see that 7 through 10 is initiate action. And we see for Lisa, she's an 8. So she initiates in quick start. And again, that is this instinct to improvise. So her strength really is her ability to innovate. She sees the future. She's very visionary about what can happen. She's also the quick start energy. When you initiate, it means that your natural method of communicating is verbally. You want to talk things out. You'll actually talk things through to understand what you're thinking. It's sort of how you process information. So then Lisa, over in the fact-finding mode, that's the red line. So she's a 4. So she's in the middle. That is what I call the responder accommodating zone. So she will go along. Her strength is her ability to explain. So she can find that sweet spot between not too much and not too little information. So I call this zone the Goldilocks. It's sort of just the right amount that you need. So you see, you're great at, you'll edit information, you'll get the essentials, but you won't go overboard and ask 50,000 questions.
It's funny. I don't know. This brings up, I know some of my team members are on here. When we're on Zoom calls for my team, if they get too detailed, I'm like, why are you doing that? Why are you getting so deep? How is this helping you? and that's almost scarily correct.
Right. For you, you don't have the need, but they do have the need. So somebody with the 7, 8, 9, or 10, your natural instinct is to gather all those specifics. And we need people like that. I mean, I'm a 5 in the fact finder. So I'm like you, Lisa, just give me the essentials. Don't tell me too much. Yeah. But I do need the people in my life, like our attorney, who does get all those specific details and facts. The accountant, those are people who will typically initiate in the fact-finding mode because they deal with so much detail and so much information. And then we also have someone who's a 1, 2, or 3. And what they do is they simplify. So they need even less than you and I, Lisa. Our talking, and sharing information, their eyes would start to glaze over. So, but it's really important because their gift is their ability to get straight to the bottom line and to summarize for us. So,
sorry,
example, that Kathy Kolbe, the creator of
Dog.
You have a delivery?
Oh, don't say, I warned you. It's Miss Cheryl. Hey, he's coming in. It's gonna be all right.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Whoa. Sorry.
So a simplifier like Kathy Colby, it's partly why she was able to come up with this. Now she's actually an 8 in quick start like you are, Lisa. So she was very visionary with what she was doing, but she had a real drive to just simplify things and come up with what's going on. She's also a 6 in the follow through, and the follow through mode again is our instinct to design, to organize, to systematize. So Kathy, like Lisa, is in the accommodating zone. So their ability was to maintain. So Kathy was able to give structure to this idea, the theory that has been now proven to be, these truly are our human instincts. Just like we have motherly instincts, these are our striving instincts. So when we're trying to accomplish something, when we're actually using mental energy, these instincts will kick in. Now, striving instincts are different than our habits. So we all know how to tie our shoes and brush our teeth. That doesn't require mental energy anymore. We just do it without even thinking. Sometimes I drive home without even thinking.
Oh, that's scary. That's scary. If I see you behind the wheel, I'm going to be wondering now.
Well, you know what I mean? You're just sort of like on autopilot. You've done it so much. You really don't have to be completely there. I mean, hopefully you are to a point, but you know what I mean in terms
Yes.
of, so when it becomes a habit, it becomes something that's conative. We've just done it so many times. So and what I'll say about the follow through mode, someone who's a 1, 2, and 3, they adapt. So they don't follow a system. They will find the shortcut to any system that's out there. So while I wouldn't want to work directly with that person developing my systems, what I want to do once I've created something, I want to go to that person and let them help me streamline it. And Lisa, you could help me. You would immediately be able to tweak and say, well, I don't think we need this step. We could do combine those. So it's really learning to appreciate that we each have our own strengths and how to leverage them and allow each of us the freedom to be ourselves so we can thrive. Because
now, as leaders, this would be good to know about the people we're leading, right?
Yeah,
or working with, however you want to look at that.
definitely. And even in personal relationships, I work with a lot of couples, partners, because you need to understand this, because if you are opposite in some modes, you could really butt heads if you don't understand that this is conative. We tend to think it might be, oh, well, that's just a preference and they could change. This is something that is a need. It's a driving force within you. And you can only go against your grain for a short period of time. You will wear yourself out mentally, energetically by trying to do that. It will take you twice the amount of energy if you're doing it against your grain than if you do it in a way that works with the flow of your energy. And I think we've all been there. We've had those days we just want to pull our hair out. And it seems like no matter what we do, we just can't get it done. So this can really open things up for us and say, okay, this is my zone of genius. This is how I do things. Then we just need to decide why we're doing what we're doing and what it is we're wanting to do. So most people already know those first two, but add this in and it just turbocharges your ability to be successful.
You know, what's funny, I don't know if it happened on purpose or not, but there's 4 of us that are in the same company that hang around together. We do projects together, and we're all different. And I mean, not all different too. Me and Molly are, I would say we both have similar, where we're big picture. And then one of the friends is in the middle about detail, and then one of the friends is wicked detail oriented. We make a joke as I say, "Oh, look, there's a sidewalk outside," and then Scola will say, "There's so many ridges in the sidewalk," but Teresa will say, "And there's 3.86 meters of cement in each ridge." So we go together and do stuff because of the fact we're different. I think.
Right. And that's the key, is we need a mix of these instinctive strengths, just like you need certain skill sets, and you want to make sure you're all aligned from a values perspective. But from a mental energy, we need to make sure that we have as many of these strengths that are needed, given what we're trying to do. So there's actually 12 strengths, instinctive strengths or Kolbe strengths, one for each zone for the 4 modes. You can do all 12 of these, Lisa, but those 4 are the ones that you naturally do well. So you are going to explain, maintain, innovate, and restore. Those are your gifts. And the more that you allow yourself to use those strengths and don't put yourself too often outside of them, you're going to be very successful. And I will say this is partly why you are successful at what you do, because you are so innovative. You see the future, you see what's possible, and then you have all this accommodating energy to make it happen. You don't have anything that's, putting the brakes on things. And you really, we call this an modus operandi, or method of operating. Your MO gives rise to this sort of affect about you that it's like, let's do this together, right?
No, what's funny though is when you're saying that about me, I'm flattered, but I wouldn't have necessarily thought I was an innovator. I'm happy. I mean, I feel like it's a compliment and I'm going with it, but I wouldn't necessarily have said that about myself. Do you find people taking the test usually say that, or?
Yes, because I think we take for granted what we naturally do well. We just assume, oh, it comes easy to us, it must come easy to everyone. And that's not true. This comes easy to you because it's your gift. And it's truly, what makes you unique. So
I
you
like that. I like the gift thing.
definitely. I mean, when you look at all that you have accomplished, I mean, what, 2 decades in the top 10, you were was it top number 4 in your business, right?
Number 5 in the country. Yeah. Bob likes to say the world, which I absolutely like him saying it too, but they don't mix our results together, so I'm not sure of that.
So
No, you know what the thing he's right about is I'm the most well-known Avon representative in the world.
yeah.
Other than that, that's not my results though, but yes, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, someone did that. Norma, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for your question. The Kolbe Index it is $55 to take the assessment, and you'll get an 18-page report. If you go to, Lisa has the URL up there, thegogiver.com/Kolbe. There's a link there to either just take the index. I also have a special offer that for $100, you'll get the assessment, and I'll do a 30-minute strategy session with you to really help you understand your results and how to apply it in your business and your personal life.
Oh, I would, if you're going to do it, I would definitely do the 30 minutes with Kathy, by the way, just saying, because that way you could really understand it. Because when I printed it off, I wasn't totally sure what I was looking at until I'm listening to you explain it now.
Good.
So that's awesome. Definitely do the whole thing.
It
Awesome.
does help. And I'm on a mission. I think every individual needs, I mean, I wish I understood this about myself when I was in my 20s. I mean, I might have went some different ways with my career. Obviously I wouldn't have taken that detour into massage therapy as a profession. I would have known. And you will laugh. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a heart surgeon.
That's a lot different. Wow, that's hands-on too.
Yes. So I instinctively realized that wasn't why I wanted to do that, but for totally different reason. But had I even known this, I wouldn't even thought of that as a career choice. So it can be so enlightening for people to understand this about themselves. I do want to show one other screen here because to me, relationships, that's the lifeblood of life. It's, the people that we have relationships with, whether it's personal or business, and your instinctive strengths dictate how you naturally communicate, how you need to take information in and how you need to give it. But we have to appreciate not everyone is like us. So if you're someone who initiates in the fact-finding mode, you naturally take things in through the written word. So you'll want to read it first and then maybe write some things or write
I'm going
things.
to make this big for a minute so
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
can read it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. And can I blow it up a
Go
little
ahead.
more? Uh,
Yeah, you'd have to do it on your end.
Let me see if that,
Oh, there you go.
do I get it? Okay. Is that, there we go. Oh, did I just do something or was that you? I can't tell. Was that me or you?
No, that was you.
Oh, oh, did I make it too big? We lost, it like went to only part of the screen.
Oh, maybe, well, I can go the other way. Oh, no, that didn't help.
At all. Okay, well, that's good enough. That should,
Okay.
can everyone see this?
I can see the words and they're seeing it bigger on the screen, I think.
Okay, hopefully they
And
can.
By the way, Kathy, I do see your comment. I just didn't say anything and I'm sorry. Kathy, I do see you there in Texas.
Oh, hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Okay.
Go ahead.
So with again, the written word, needing things in writing, and I'll just share my business partner, Bob Berg, he initiates in the fact finding. So I have learned over time that when I have an idea, that my best way to communicate with him is to first send him an email and write it down so that he has time to think about it. And then I'll call him up. But I found out if I get all excited and I just call him on the phone, it he can't, his first instinct will say, wait, let's wait. He wants to process it. And there's nothing wrong with it. But now I've learned that how to work effectively with each other. So like he's learned, don't send me a long thing to read. As an initiating follow through, I don't use, the written word isn't how I communicate. I want to see it visually. I want a chart, a graph, anything that lets me visually take it in without having to read copious amounts of text. Then someone like Lisa, the quick start, it's with the spoken word. So if I have something for Lisa, if I can, I would want to talk to her about it because she naturally brainstorms and we could really just go back and forth and really flesh out the ideas. And then when I'm dealing with somebody who's an initiating implementer, they're hands-on. They need to see it demonstrated. They need to touch it. There's someone that walks in some place and they can't help but touch everything they see. They'll pick it up. They'll also make comments about quality. If it's shoddy quality, they'll immediately say it. They won't want to work with tools unless they're of the highest quality. So just little things that can really help you in your communication with other people. So let me stop my screen sharing and we can go back.
So if you know what somebody else's index is, so if you and your team, like your major key players, also did the index, then you would have them to compare and talk about it so that you knew how to interact with each other better.
Definitely, definitely. And there's, when you're working together as a team, especially when you're interdependent, there is a natural synergy that you want the energy to be in. And also you can look to see, well, where might we be missing some energy? Who do we need to pull in that will bring that energy, into the mix with us? It's just amazing how that happens. And one example is there is an MO where there are certain people that do not initiate in any of the modes. They accommodate across all four or three, and then they prevent in one of the modes. And they are a natural bridge person. They are great to have on a team because if there are people that are opposite ends of the spectrum, they just naturally balance that energy out. And sometimes just having them in the room during the meeting, it's amazing. It balances it out. You kind of have to see it to believe it, but it's very, very powerful. So
That's pretty neat. I think
it's for forever. I find it so fascinating. I feel like the more that we can know about ourselves and be aware and appreciate, the more authentic we can be. And that's really where this comes into me of the 5 laws of stratospheric success from the Go Giver, the law of authenticity, that the most valuable gift that you have to offer is yourself. And you can do that when you truly know the gifts that you are and can freely share them.
That is neat. That is awesome. And it's funny how, like the example I gave with the 4 of us, we just gravitated towards each other not even on purpose. We weren't like looking, but then each of us, we have like a little chat we do together. Each of us has our specialty.
Yeah.
So, like if someone's on the cliff because there's something changed in the company and they can't see the big picture, well, that's my job, isn't it? So I bring them back off the cliff. But if someone wants to know the details for the incentive going on, that's Teresa. Don't ask me about the incentive details because I could care less, really. Yeah, either I'm going to get her or I'm not. But I'm excited about the big picture of the incentive. But I
Right.
don't know how we naturally gravitated together because of that, I guess.
Yeah, or just you were drawn together, you were meant to be, and it's beautiful how you each bring something unique, to the table. Another thing, Lisa, about you with this, your quick start energy is you thrive on short-term deadlines. And if someone challenges you and says, I bet you can't do that, you'll be like, I bet I can.
Oh, yeah, and I've got to get better about like not I'll give you an example. When
Mhm.
when I worked as a secretary and in high school and stuff, people said, you're never gonna amount to anything, stuff like that. And when I was featured in Avon's magazine, I had a big spread and everything. I actually bought hundreds of copies and
Oh,
sent them to people. I sent them to people with a little note, and I didn't say anything mean in the note. I just said, "Thought you might get a kick out of this." That's what I said. But it was like, yeah, therapy at $3 a shot. It was awesome. I was so happy.
but that's so, what you're doing really capitalizes on your instinctive strengths, along with all your other aspects of who you are, your attitude, how compassionate you are, how much you care about people. But being a secretary, that was not a good MO fit for you. You know,
No,
there was
yeah.
not, there wasn't an outlet for that quick start energy. You were probably trying to give them all ideas of how to do things differently.
Yeah, I begged them to be in sales actually, but at the time I didn't have the equipment for sales. They were all men in the sales department that computer place, so I didn't have the necessary equipment.
Yeah.
And then-
Their loss. They lost because you would have probably been the top salesperson. At,
well, that's why I sent them all the magazine because I'm a bad person. No, I just that I guess that was rubbing it in, but I felt like they didn't appreciate my abilities.
that's
So
what.
but you know what? I probably wouldn't have left that job if I hadn't got laid off. I'm
Well,
not sure I would have. It was forced on me. I'm so happy now, but I try to think of that whenever something bad happens now. Is at the time when I got laid off of that job in a recession, um,
mhm.
I thought the world ended because I had benefits and all that stuff, and I was young and needed it. And my husband at the time, earning wasn't something that he was interested in doing. So it
Oh,
was right. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But so I had to earn enough to carry. And that was a devastating thing that worked out. So
mhm.
now I try to think of that when something comes along. Maybe
That's
this is the good thing that happened.
That's right. Everything happens for us, not to us.
Yeah.
We just may not be able to see that benefit. What I've been learning, we just have to shift our perspective sometimes, or it may just take time to see, as Deborah Davenport in The Go Giver, to unwrap that gift that we're given. Right.
In the Go Giver, if everybody listening, live, we don't have that many listening, but we do on YouTube and stuff. They listen to the replay. Definitely, if you haven't read The Go Giver yet and the other books that followed, you need to get that book. I know I've been saying this on from the mount for a while, but definitely read it because it's a way of doing. Yeah, there it is. It's a way of doing business that is just about against what the company is teaching, practically against what all the companies are teaching. They're teaching everything has to have a return on investment, measurable return on investment. They're teaching you have to close the sale. They're not talking about relationships. And this stuff works. Do you have a way to talk about this where because I'm always afraid I'm not getting
Mhm.
the bottom line of what this movement is about, correct?
Well, I think you did a great job, and it truly is It's about the relationships. And in the book, they make the comment that does it make money? While it's a good question, it's not the right first question to ask. Does it serve? Is the right question. And when we look at the bigger picture, does it serve? Are we giving our gifts to help other people? That's truly what I think that we're here to do, is to share and to understand that that's what prosperity truly is. It's not about the money. We can't take the money with us, but what we gain through our relationships, that's how we grow as individuals. If we were on a desert island, how much fun would that be? Maybe for a little while. But in business, really, well, two things. I feel we're all here, we're all creative. We all have creative potential. It's the other reason why I love the Colby, because it really shows how we are each uniquely creative. It's not about being an artist, a painter, what have you. We all have these instinctive creative gifts to share, and we get to choose how we want to share them. But that is our drive inside, I believe, is to share, creatively express ourselves. And in business is one of the greatest ways we can do that, because we can come together with other people, and it's, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts when we have the right mix and we're allowing people to use their gifts in a way that they thrive. So it's about putting the emphasis there. It's about putting heart into business, which hasn't always been there. That starts with that. The money will follow, as they say in the Go Giver, that money is an echo of value. It's the thunder to values lightning. And it's so true. It follows. It's not the first thing. And if we're focused just on the money, we're missing the whole point of life.
It's funny. I find myself explaining the concept when I'm talking about other stuff, though, because people say to me in direct sales, if I join the chamber, what am I going to get out of it? And I'm like, well, you shouldn't bother to join the chamber if that's what you're asking, because when you join something like the Chamber of Commerce, you have to go in saying, what am I going to contribute? And then you end up getting out of it, but it's not necessarily from exactly. It's not a win-win. It's not a win-win. I think of it more like my mama used to always say, what goes around comes around.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens good and bad. So,
Right.
when someone does you bad, you say what goes around comes around, because you don't have to worry about it. They get theirs. But that also works for good stuff, don't you think?
It does. I mean, it truly is. What you give is what you receive, and it's not always a direct correlation. If I give to you, it may not come directly back, but it has to come back. But it has to start. And I think that's what's unique about the Go Giver way is, in the principles, it starts with giving value first. And I want to clarify, it is not about giving things away for free. It's about providing value. Value might just be smiling and acknowledging someone. They might be having a hard day, and you just taking time to smile and really connect with them might be what they need to help have them shift out of that place they might be in. So it
And
truly
listening too. Although
listen.
I interrupted you to say that, that was
No, but listen, it is so, it's the way that we honor by being truly present with another person and really listening, not listening to figure out what we're going to say next, but listening to really experience and feel what that person is saying so that we can authentically respond to that person is really key. So I believe people like yourself, Lisa, who really understand that it is about the relationships and what we're giving in our life are the most successful. And we get out of that rat race. And the other thing I think with the Go Giver movement, I was just on a Beyond the Mastermind call with a group of our certified speaker coaches, and we're talking about this idea, how do you share what this really is? What does somebody how does one benefit from being part of the Go Giver movement? And it starts with, we have to look at the current way business is perceived. There's this, oh, it's just dog eat dog, and I got to get my share, and what we're really trying to do is saying it doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to, business does not have to be in that frame. It can be in a frame of collaboration, that rising tide that raises all boats, and when you realize that there is an abundance out there and can give from your heart, it just changes the entire dynamic. And that's what we're trying to do with the Go Giver movement, with our Go Giver Success Alliance group, is to truly bring people that get this together, so we don't feel like we're out there all by ourselves.
And it does feel like we're all together. I love I love the group and how different people are. There's just, everybody is so different in different industries. I don't know many indirect sales actually in there. I think there's a couple, but it's engineering. There's just
Yeah.
every totally different thing you could think of are in there. Do you know what's funny? One of my friends, we have a thing where um, it's a guy, so I don't know if that has to do anything with it. It's actually one of my friend's husbands. But when I talk to him, if I have to say up front, either I want you to help me to solve a problem, or I just want you to listen to me complain, and don't try to solve it. Just, I think people should do that with their spouses, by the way.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the listening is all I want. I just want someone to listen, not fix me.
Right. And also with that quick start energy, you just want to talk out the ideas. You need someone to brainstorm with. So it's really great, especially for you, to say that, hey, I just need to talk. I need to brainstorm. Can you just listen and brainstorm with me? Because sometimes if someone's not initiating quick start, they'll hear you say something and think, oh, I got to go do that.
Or try to fix it, or try to come up
Yeah.
with a solution. Yeah. I
Right.
think that, that's important to say if you're a person that,
Yeah.
yeah. I
And
wish I'd done that when I was married, said, hey, listen, I just need you to listen here. Don't fix it. Don't fix it. Just listen and just nod once in a while. That would be awesome. You know what I mean?
yes,
You contribute, but don't try to fix me.
need classes in listening and empathy.
Yeah, well, yeah, then and then there's that. Oh, no, that's funny.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Tamara said, James will ask me, would you like me to fix it or just listen? See, that's perfect. That's
Very good,
perfect.
James. Way to go. Thanks
Yeah,
for doing
yeah.
it.
I haven't met James yet and I already like him.
Yes, he's an enlightened individual.
Yeah, I wish I'd thought of that stuff. You know what's funny, when I was talking, John David Mann came on here.
Wow, I love that episode.
Now I have to say the whole name now, but it's John, right? Right. I wasn't sure, all this time. I didn't know for sure whether people went around calling him John David, like John, you know what I mean? Like two, right,
Oh,
or not. And he said, oh, no, it's just John.
just
But
been writing to, for his brand, if you will, because John is a pretty,
yes,
they,
common name.
as you were saying, there were
And
more.
I do that too. I put M, believe it or not. In my database, I have 3 Lisa Wilbers. So my
Really?
name is not uncommon. So I usually put the M when I'm doing stuff. So I get it.
Well, that's great. That's why I made up my own last name. After I got divorced, I decided that I didn't want to
Oh,
go back, so I made up
did
my
you?
own.
Oh, did you really?
I did.
I love
I think
that.
that was the most creative thing I've ever done.
So your name is not related to anybody. It's just made up. Oh my God, I
Just
love
made
that.
up. It is just
Now
made up.
I thought of doing that and I didn't dare do it because I was too deep into it being Wilbur, by you know what I mean? Because my name would have changed 10 years ago. I was too deep into it being Wilbur, so I kept my married name. But oh, I wish I'd have done that.
Yeah. Well, I had kept my married name was Zader. My maiden name was Camp, Kamp. And I loved my married name, Zader. And I had it, we were married 10 years and then I kept it for 5 years. But it just got to the point, it just didn't feel me anymore. And I'll tell you, Zader, my husband made up his name when he was 21 in a creative writing class. So he told me the story. He was
Awesome.
making out characters' names, and his birth name was Zabriskie. I was really glad that
Oh, that's long. It's complicated.
hard. So Zinzo was really short. So I was really glad that he changed his name. So it got me thinking, it's like, well, I've had a made up name for 15 years. Why not make my own name? So I said, I first looked all over to, what name might I like? And I couldn't, I'm like, I want it to be unique. I want it to be elegant. I first decided that I wanted T because it's a cool letter. I had had a K and a Z. And so T for truth. I feel like I'm here to learn the truth. And then I was just playing around. I was like, okay, I want something elegant. So my process, I was just writing out the word elegant. I did all the anagrams. So everything, there are, I think, 11 or 16 of them. And I looked down the page and Tagenel just jumped out as at first I didn't know why. I'm like, oh, that's it. That's it. That's it. And then when I came back to it, my father's name is Gene. G.
Oh, it's right there in the middle.
It's right there in the middle. So,
that is awesome.
so
I'm sorry, but I just boom. This is like such an awesome thing. Oh my God, you're like my hero now. That is so awesome.
well, thank you. I will tell you, it took me over 8 months to get it legally changed. When you go back to
yes.
maiden name, it's a piece of cake. But nobody knew what to do. They sent me here, they sent me there. You had to go file court papers.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because they want to try to make you go your maiden name.
Well,
wow.
They just, with I guess the Patriot Act, they did, they were super on top of, they don't want any shady characters changing their names. So the funniest part of it, so we're like 7 months into it, and I finally get the paperwork from the court saying, okay, your hearing it was going to be in July. And this was in 2015. And Bob and I happened to we had this, we were going on the road. We were going to be gone most of July going to speaking engagements. And so I called, I wrote them. I said, I can't do it in July. Could we do it in August? And I never heard back from them. I'm at the Ontario airport in California. Curbside, Bob is out checking his bags. My phone rings and it's the magistrate of the court saying, we'd like to do your hearing right now. And I was like, how long will this take?
So you did.
She said, I'm not really sure. And Bob wasn't back yet. I'm like, okay, go ahead. So Bob gets back in the car and I'm like, 1 sec. And in 5 minutes, they asked me all the questions and approved my name. It was hysterical. And I'm thinking, how the heck did they know that was really me? I mean,
that is funny. That is funny. I think that is awesome, though. Oh, well, I didn't even think of that option. I know. I
recommend it. It's very fun, very freeing, and a very creative process.
Yeah, when I released my second husband to move on to another opportunity, I released him. I decided I was going to keep my married name. He wasn't happy, but I was using it professionally. So, did you want to speak on what Victoria said?
Yeah,
she found a place.
Free test. Now that is a personality test. It is not the same thing as the instinctive strengths. So definitely start there, but realize that is coming from a preferences base, not how you're kind of hardwired to do things.
Plus, I would definitely, if you're going to do this and invest in this, by the way, this would be tax deductible as education expense for your business, I believe. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
I would not just do the test alone. I would definitely get the option where Kathy's going to go over the results with you for a half hour, because you'll be sitting there not understanding fully what it means, I think. So, yeah.
And I do see that they're trying to market themselves as the free alternative to the Colby, but if they're calling it a personality test, then they're not really understanding the difference, that there truly is a difference from one's personality is based on preferences, on, the emotional aspects that, we acquire as we grow up, whereas this instinctive strength is something that's hardwired into us. It's sort of our gifts we're born with. And the Colby company has done a 20-year test and retest and shown that this does not change over time. Your number might change, but your strength doesn't. So I know it's a little more expensive, but I do think that it's worth knowing that aspect for
And
yourself.
Tamara says, I want to do this. Where can I find it? It's the URL right on the scrolling bar. So it's the gogiver.com/Colby. So it's the URL that's going right underneath us here. And you know what? I'll put that up in the group too,
Oh, thank
Tamara.
you.
Okay. So yay. But
Yeah,
Victoria,
Victoria,
it is a good start. It's just, yeah, it's just different. Right. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. And on that web page, you can just take the Colby index if you want, and then there is the option to have the 30-minute strategy session with me. I just like
Well, and I think that, I mean, Victoria's got a point. I've done all three of those kind of tests,
yes,
where the personality test and the IQ kind of test, and then this one. I think each of them has a place in your overall learning about yourself.
for sure. And if do we have just a minute? I want to share my screen for one last
Yes, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
pull this together. Oh, whoops, I didn't want to leave. I wanted to
Oh, it's not clear on the bottom. It's the gogiver.com/KOLBE. And I'll put it in the group too, Tamara, okay? I'll put the link in the group. Oh, and here's
Can you guys see that, or do we need to make it bigger? I don't know.
I can make it bigger. Oh, that's as big as I can make it.
Oh, did
Now
that
you just have to scroll down a little bit, I think.
like
If you scroll down on your screen a little bit. There.
bring it up? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So all three parts are important. So definitely get the personality. That again is your emotions. That is why. That's your passion. And that's where it all starts. It doesn't matter if you have the instinctive strengths or the skill set. If you don't want to do something and have that motivation to do it, you're not going to do anything with it. So that's where it's set your intention. Why do you want to get really clear on your intention, and then look at the what. What are you focusing your attention on? That is just as key. That's your skills, your experience, your background that you're bringing to bear and whatever you're doing. And then that third piece is taking action. That is your striving instincts. It's how you're going to naturally do it in a way that just flows for you. A lot of people talk about that flow state. And when you are using your instinctive strengths, you will be in that flow state. And I believe where those three overlap, come together, that's where you're in a place of pure joy. And the more you bring yourself in alignment with all three, the more joy you'll experience. So yes, all three are important. So I do recommend doing the other ones as well.
Awesome. So the Kobe one is the action one.
Yes,
in
that's
the action bubble. Awesome.
right.
Okay, I'm going to just go back here for a second. Is that all right?
It was great. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I hope that you'll share more things in the group. I think you're a member now, I'm pretty sure. I'll put in the link because we talked about it. I'm also going to put this up on YouTube. We are at our time, and I really appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this.
I have
Thank you, everyone.
All important question, the last question that I ask everybody. You know what's coming. Is it brownies, sea salt caramels, or cookies for you today?
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to go with the sea salt caramels.
Oh, that is my new favorite. I'm gonna send you.
You're so sweet.
The big old bag of sea salt caramels. You're gonna love them. Yeah, that's my new favorite. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you stay right there for a second, I'm going to end the broadcast and we'll be back in the green room. But thank you very much. I appreciate it, Kathy.
All right.
See y'all later, everybody.